A rally car's bonnet must be made accessible to third parties, particularly for the reason of if a fire breaks out in the engine bay, marshals must be able to open it up. So the original clasping and locking mechanisms must be made inoperable or even removed, and a system of pins and clips that can be opened from the outside by anybody needs to be installed. I didn't want to use a mint bonnet for this, so I'm using this. It's in good condition, but it's had louvers cut into it, so I'm going to have to take them out. And there's also a bit of a dent that was repaired with filler that's cracked, so I'm going to have to do a few repairs to this, but I didn't want to waste a perfect bonnet. In fact, I think this one is ideal for a motorsport bonnet, as I'm going to have to drill holes in it and put pins through. So in order to get the fitment correct, I'm putting the bonnet back on the hinges, and I'm actually going to adjust it, make sure it's sitting exactly the way that I want. I decided to do the pins now because I don't really want to be drilling and putting loads of swarf etc. over the new paint. This is the way I adjust it. It was a little bit short, so that's, I just loosened them off, and that's made it come out a little bit further. And to do the work I need to on it, I need to hold the bonnet somewhere securely, and this is the best place for it. Little adjustment needed on this side as well. Been doing these for quite a number of years. You can also adjust the height generally by opening the back one, and it kind of pivots up and down. So that's given me the correct length. So it's quite bouncy on the location pin and spring in the middle, but I'll leave them there so that it all sits right. But I think I might actually have to take off the little catch that's still there. So I have a few of the motorsport accessories to fit to the car sent to me from E Fox Engineers. And I'm just making sure there's space between the suitable part on the valence to mount it and a nice flat piece in the corner of the bonnet. So figure out the perfect spot to fit the post, and I'm just using the washer and the nut to make sure that they'll have enough space when they're underneath. So I fit them on top, but imagine the space that's underneath to get these right, and I'm just scribing across so that I can see where to drill. Just a bit further back than I thought. And it's funny, you see a few holes in that, sometimes they call it a striker plate, I think, where the bonnet lands. But they would go through a very complex part of the box section in the bonnet, and not too level either. So drilling my own holes for these, putting away that little rubber support for the bonnet. But I put them back on as well, so they help secure it a bit over the wings. So it'll actually be supported in quite a few places, the wings, at the posts, and in the centre. And the pins will really be working just to hold it down. Cleaning off the burrs on the edges of the hole I drilled. With that handy file that I made into a scribe some time ago. Nice fresh threads on these. So I've gone for the stainless steel ones. It fits in nicely. Needs to be a washer on the top. So with all this thread, you can adjust the height of them as much as you want, and I'll finesse that when I have the bonnet clamping down over them. So now you see why I was judging the space for the washer and the nut underneath. I'll have to remove these again before I paint the car, but I actually wanted to get these in to hold the bonnet while I work on it, and also do all this drilling etc. before paint. So just adjusting the angle of it there and locking it in place. They need to be straight, so bend that up vertical. I'm putting a bit of copper grease on the top to mark the bonnet where I need to drill it. Oh, the catch tricked me there. I did not mean to do it that hard. I could probably do it by the dent nearly. So that's another good reason not doing this with the freshly painted bonnet. Tough bonnet actually, it didn't dent. So there's my spot. So I'm doing it out fairly small for starters, just to make sure I got the location right. There's no lateral movement or anything. Both sides now. So put it down on them again. And that's a relief to see the holes blocked by the post. And I just want to make sure I have the hole in the right position forward and back as well, so just making sure I can see that mark. And now my pins. So that one, the top is very much in the middle, so just marking the shape I need to cut out. Supported there while I'm drilling it. So now I'm putting a larger hole either side of that original one. Try and drag a bit across now. There we go, so we've roughly got the hole. So I'm not kind of going to the exact full size yet. Let's put it down, let's make sure we're going in the right direction. Yeah, so I'll actually get the rest of that out with the file. Nasty edge on that, so just flatten it down with the hammer and then I'll file it out for the final measurement, so I don't get it don't go too far in the wrong direction with filing. It's nice and snug. Do the same on the far side. Put the clasp on here now. Mark it for the screws, and I will screw it for now, but that does actually leave kind of nasty points on the inside. I think when I finalize this on the painted bonnet, I think I'll rivet them. But this is good, I can put them on for a minute and then take them off again. Look, those louvers are actually doing something useful before they get removed. I don't think this car ever actually got used with the bigger engine that was planned for it, based on the fact that the chassis leg was marked for cuts but wasn't. So this one needs to come up a little bit higher it around a few times. This is adjusting the bonnet. Like, this is actually like an aerodynamic adjustment. So I'm going to cut a little bit of this radiator hose for the bonnet to sit on. Makes a perfect bump stop. One for each side. Now, moment of truth. Great. That'll keep the bonnet secure while I do my welding.